Så där då, mina vänner. Då är klockan 12:45 och vi är tillbaka från lunchen. Och det här föredraget som kommer nu, det kommer att genomföras på engelska av min kollega Marcin Psolka från Trimble i Norge. And I also see that we have some international guests attending this webinar, so I switch to my perfect English here and introduce my colleague and friend from Trimble, Norway, Marcin Psolka, was going to talk about export IFC 4.3. So I leave the word to you here, Marcin. Thank you.
Thank you, Jonas. Hello, everyone. My name is Marcin Psolka, working in Trimble. I'm based in Oslo, and today I'm going to show you how we can export data from Quadri to IFC 4.3. And my session will be based on use case with Civil 3D. So before I jump to demonstration, I would like to also show you some slides. So probably most of you know what is Quadri. So just to give you an example, Quadri could be named as a data hub, CDE, or object-based environment, where we actually import different data, or we stream different data. So for example, here we can directly connect Quadri with connectors, so with Quantum, with Tekla Structure, with SketchUp, with Civil 3D, Revit, Grasshopper, Open Roads, and Trimble Business Center. It means that we stream data through API directly to Quadri. We can also import the data, like different file formats from different sources, like from Trimble Connect, ProjectWise, or any local server. We can just stream it and import to Quadri. We have also, as you know, in Quadri, we have our, in Trimble, we have our own authoring software, which is called NovaPoint, and also we connect through API and we send result data directly to Quadri. So Quadri is actually that we can grab data from different sources, from different apps, authoring software. We can also reference orthophotos, WMS, WFS, and so on. And then we have a very rich data bank. And from there, we can then export data back to different file formats like here, or we can, in our case, as I'm going to show you, we can export to IFC 4.3. So what I'm going to show you today, it's this workflow from Civil 3D to Quadri to IFC 4.3. So this is the Quadri inside, and you need to also understand some basic information. So we use something called tasks. So if you look at this Explorer window on the left, we have a tasks. This is a task, road, this is a task, and this is a task. And we can structure them very nicely in folder structure. And each of these tasks uses something called, or is based on the features. And features, it's simply objects. So for example, object is a curve, linear element, soil cut slope. So all these elements here you see on the screen, this is the features. And all features are connected to the task. So when we work with Civil 3D, so we send data through task, in this case, task Civil 3D, and this task contain all these features or objects. An object has different information like properties, has a geometry, and also different attributes. And all this data you see here on the right, we can easily export and convert to what we want. And on top of the property window, because we can also click on the object and see what is the object, we also see the name. So this is our internal feature catalog, how we call it. So all, for example, road features or road objects from Civil 3D, we stream to Quadri, and we collect them, we present them as our own features. This is something you need to know. So in Quadri, we have also plenty possibilities to connect the data, and I'm going to show you a very simple one with automation tool. It calls that you can connect a lot of properties very easy way to many objects. And here, this is I think you can make a screenshot, or you will also get later on this presentation. So based on this simple principle, you can create very general automated rule to connect all your properties to your objects. So I'm going to explain you this later, but this is just for you in the future, that if you wanna repeat this exercise home, just bring this slide and repeat as I describe it here. But what we are going to do today, we are going to export IFC, our objects, our features that we collect from Civil 3D in Quadri to IFC 4.3. And now I need to also tell you a bit about IFC as a general. So IFC 4.3 is an extension to existing IFC schema. So this is the newest extension, the newest upgraded schema, where we can find a lot of new entities. And this is entity, IFC curb, IFC pavement, IFC course. This is entities. And these entities now we can connect our objects to these entities. And there is plenty new that are that came together with the new release of the IFC schema. So I also going to show you example where I will, for example, connect my data to IFC pavement, IFC course, IFC curb, IFC alignment. So now we can also save our line, like our reference line or alignment to IFC alignment entity. Annotation is used for stakeout data. If we talk about some trenches or some manholes, we can use for this purpose a distribution chamber element. If we talk about bridge elements, we can use IFC element assembly. Of course, IFC signal for signaling elements, borehole for geotechnique, IFC sign for if you're going to export the signs. We have also track element for some of the for the elements of the railway, IFC rails, IFC fill and cut. This is the most popular entities you can find here, and all of them we support in Quadri. So if you want to export your data to some of these entities, you can do it in Quadri. But IFC entities, it's not only this, or IFC schema, it's not only this, because we can also extend entities with some attributes. And if we look at the attributes, so we have four main attributes in the schema for physical elements. We always have a predefined type. We have an object type, description, and tag, and of course a name. In this case, when we have, for example, this layer, it's the IFC course and predefined type pavement. So when we have a predefined type, we don't need to set object type. We can set, of course, description and tag. But here, for example, in Quadri, we also define the top surface. And this is just the surface. And there is no predefined type that can describe this surface. So in our case, we can use predefined as a user defined. We can set this value to user defined. And if you have predefined type as a user defined, then you can create your own object type. And this is the place also where everyone who wants to extend IFC schema with own taxonomy. Object type is the place where we can which we can use to define our own, let's say, object library. So in some cases we use user defined, but we wanted to stick to this predefined types which are default in the schema. So in our conversion rules, I'm going to tell you a bit more later, you will find a lot of predefined types, but also you will find some predefined user defined, and this object type, it's just what we suggested, but could be easily changed by you. But remember that when you have a predefined type defined, you cannot use object type. Only when you have a predefined type which is set to user defined, then you can use this traffic surface. Sorry, you can then use object type. Yes, so the next one. So also when we talk about IFC, you cannot forget about spatial breakdown structure. So probably you know in the IFC viewer, when you open IFC 2x3 file or IFC 4, you have this tree structure where was the project, site, building story, and so on. But this now is over for infrastructure. Now we can actually use entities that are created for infrastructure purpose. And you can here find out how they are called. Like for infrastructure, we can create IFC road, IFC bridge, IFC railway, and then we can also divide them in the IFC road part, bridge part, railway part, and so on. So this is the spatial breakdown structure. So you can see how it could look in the viewer. So here you see that we, for example, place IFC alignment under IFC project. Then we have IFC site. This one, it's just this is how viewer show the spatial breakdown structure, but in an other viewer you will not see this. For example, you will see under IFC site directly IFC road part, and another IFC road part. It's also up to you how you're going to divide your project. And in this case, there is also name, but each of the spatial elements has our own predefined type, but also something called usage type. So you need to also understand that you can have on this spatial elements are IFC site, IFC road part. You can also have this usage type because, for example, in this case, I want to define my road longitudinally, like from section to section, but maybe I want to also divide it in laterally. So that's why we use this usage type. This is how we can define, or how we can structure our data in IFC file. And what we can do today in Quadri, we also support this division, and we can easily make this structure. So you see this this view this is BIM vision. So all these views are actually created by IFC, by Quadri. So this is how it works in Quadri. So you need to know that everything what is inside Quadri, and when we want to export or import, we use something called conversion rules. And conversion rules are very, very important issue in terms of getting right data in and out. So I know that this is a complex, but I would like to show you some very basic information that will help you in the future to structure your conversion rules. So in conversion rules, we can define all physical objects, so these IFC entities, with attributes, properties, and classification. So this is the place where we define all this data. But when we talk about spatial breakdown structure, so we invented something called relationship config. So now when we convert our object using this relation config, now we can place them and put them to the right place in the space. So this is where relation config is used to actually determine where we're going to place our physical object, where we're going to place our pavement, our curb, or our alignment, and so on. So you also need to understand that in export from Quadri, we need to do two steps. First, conversion rule, physical objects, and then place them spatially using relationship config. And this is like also for you. You can do screenshot, you can do what you want. You will understand later how you can structure your conversion rules. So I'm not going to go very deep into this because I know this is complex, but this is how you can set up your conversion rules in export. So you always need to remember that first we need to convert your feature to IFC object. Then we need to select to which entity we want to actually export. So in this case, we want to have this structure layer from Quadri. This is a feature from Quadri. We want to export it and save it as a IFC course. Structure layer to IFC course. Then we know that this IFC course has a solid geometry. So we want to connect our solid with IFC solid. So this is a very simple mapping. Then we know that this solid needs to also be represented. So then we need the geometry representation, which is also part of the schema. And we present it as a body rep. And you can find it also in conversion rules, that solid representation. Then we want to also export some attributes. And I told you about the basic one, like predefined type, name, tag, description, but we can also have this global ID and material in this case is different issue, but in the first round we do it this way. But also you need to understand that all attributes goes under something called name value per list. Name value per list, all attributes. So this is like hard-coded, something that it's belongs to the schema. And properties, it's something else. Properties we can define ourselves. It's our own definitions that we connect to the objects, and this we in conversion rules we connect this to property set data list. So you need to distinguish these two things: attributes to name value per list and properties to property set data list. So if you will follow these rules here, you will set up all conversion rules for export to IFC 4.3. And if we then, as I told you before here, if we in conversion rules, when we create the physical objects, so we convert them physical objects, then based on this data, we can then open our configuration file, and then this is the simple XML file, and we say that, okay, based on I want IFC course with predefined type pavement, I want to place it under IFC pavement rigid, which is contained under IFC road. And of course, you can check how it looks, and I'm going to show you now how it's structured. So this is a very basic rule. So all physical objects that we convert, in this case, we need only two information about entity and about predefined type attribute. Based on this data, we can then connect our object to the space in the spatial breakdown structure. So this is the basic information you have to know. But now let's jump to Quadri. So yes, now I'm in Quadri. You can see here now how it looks. So before I had this road inside Civil 3D, and in Civil 3D we have this Quadri tab. So it was simply just to select some data. I'm not going to also tell you in details how it works, but we have API and direct connection with Quadri. So we just click on this button, send to Quadri. And then we can easily, just doing that, we can send all data that we stored in Civil 3D to Quadri. And of course, we also on the way to Quadri and from Quadri to Civil 3D, we use conversion rules. So this conversion rules looks like this. And I can show you that I'm based on the names from Civil 3D, I'm creating my features. So this is how the default features looks. As I told you, we have this hierarchy we can build ourselves. This hierarchy is like a folder based, and under folders I can also change the name and so on. And under that I just create my own folders for road from Civil 3D. And I have a road Civil 3D task, and under task I see all these features that I got from the Civil 3D. So when I right click view in 3D, then I have my road from Civil 3D. I can also show it differently. So for example, with default presentation setup, or for this purpose, I created my own for Swedish demo to have also better resolution, better texture. So now you can see that this is quite nice model imported from Civil 3D. When I click on the object, I see that this is the structural layer. And I have a lot of information, generic property list. And I have some, for example, I would like to add some extra information. So I'm using geometry property list to make it. And you can also see that I have a solid geometry. So this is information I'm interested in. But okay, let's jump to this automation tool I mentioned you. So we have under modeling, we have something called automation. So I already created a task. So when I open that one, I can, for example, save it directly in my tree here. So I just click on automation. I just give a name, add properties. Now I will say that I only want to select my road. So select from dynamic query. And I will say that I would like to add this task. So I can filter by the task. So I just select road from Civil 3D. And it means it stands here 66 objects. I click 66 objects. And I created before a rule. I just will edit that one. So I just go here. And I have a very simple structure where I will say I want to select now all objects. I want now to add some properties to that. So when I click here, and I will find a definition. So I would like to add to all features some generic properties. I didn't select something special, just very normal. We can put different value types, but it's like, let's say Nova point. So I will say 2024-1 version, MMI 200, and designer, let's say Martin, my name. And now I just, based on this very simple rule, I can easily add now to all objects the data. So you can see in the tree here that now I have these attributes without value. But if I click OK and then select a rule, then I can just run. And suddenly I got all information on my objects. So I click any object and I will get this information. So this is the way where we introduce to connect the data to our to objects. When I click finish, I will have this automation tool here. So of course we can then reproduce it and so on. But now if I want to export my road with all properties, I need to go to the output tab. And under output, we have export to file. Then I need to click on IFC. Then I need to click on the settings. Or sorry, before we need to also select what we want to export. So in our case, select features, but of course, as I said, I can based on the input, in this case, based on the task, I would like to say all objects, 66 objects. And these objects for me is curb, liner elements, soil cut slope, stakeout, stripping, structural lane, and traffic lane, all these objects. And if I click here, I also will see that only these objects I want. Then I selected here IFC, but then in the settings, I need to go to the version and I need to click on 4.3. Then I need to click OK, and I need to go to conversion rule. So now we convert data from a feature catalog to IFC catalog, and you can with installation you can find all these conversion rules I created, so you can easily copy them and create your own. I suggest you to do this one. I make my own one, so I just reuse that one, copy that one, and I add just the postfix with 3S with Civil 3D. And when you open it, you will see that there is source features, that what is in Quadri we convert to objects, and we need to click on this view attributes per conversion rule, and you can find out how it's built up. So with this screenshot before I told you to make, you will find that this is geometry to geometry in this case. Then in this case, we select entity. So we want, for example, this to geotechnical stratum, then name value per list. So all attributes we want to export, and in property sets, which property sets we want to export. So in this case, it's made like that. So when you just make it and set up everything, you just click OK. But you also need to select it here. But you need to also go back to the settings and go to the association configuration. And in this place, when you click on this button, you will get this description or this configuration, how you're going to structure your data in the viewer. And in the viewer, it's very simple. Also, you can, if you open it in Notepad++, so you can see that under IFC road, we have IFC road segment, usage type longitudinal. Then you have to, the next step is you can just divide in carriageway, shoulder, roadside, then also earthworks fill. So this is a lot of time we put to this, and we are also part of the implementers forum and Building Smart International. So this, I can say it's quite legit what we suggested here. So I just invite you to check how it's the structure. And when we have this, everything set up, then we need to just click on finish. And when we open our file, so this is exported file, so you can present it very nicely in the browsers. You need to know that, for example, Beam Vision doesn't support alignment. So when you open alignment, it looks like this, but you can very easily show the structure. So this structure comes from this configuration file. But I also use a different solution, which is called US Beam Browser. And in US Beam Browser, you can make the same. You can show your road, how it's structured, this hierarchy. And what is nice, because alignment now, you can open alignment in this view. And when you click on the alignment, you can also view the longitudinal profile based on the alignment we created. And we use the same engine. And we also support something called stationing, or reference it calls. So you can also set up the stationing every 50 meters, every 100 meters, or on the start and end of the horizontal curvature, or any element. So in this viewer, it's very nice to just show the data. And when you click on the object, you have also all information you need, like this predefined type I told you about. You have this tag, you have a name, something if you are interested in the relations between different objects, or if you are interested in the properties, everything you can find here. So remember, you can export now data from different sources. You can struct them in add properties, you can struct them in Quadri, and at the end you can convert them and export to IFC 4.3 or any other format. But in this case, I just showed you IFC. Of course, I think we need more time for this, but for this short demo, I think this is the sneak peek of the functions we support today. So thank you so much for your time. And I'm giving a stage to Jonas. Probably you want to tell something.
I would just say that you were a little bit past time, so there were some questions. I have answered them in the chat during this, but there was one question that says this relationship config, is that a part of NovaPoint Quadri or Quadri then, or
yes.
is it a separate software?
But no. It's inside under settings. You go to this apply changes or reset to default, and you will see also that you will get this file. But I suggest you to set up or in a system to be able to open all XML files in Notepad++. Yeah. So it's very easy if you right click on any XML file in your system and right click and view always with Notepad++. Then it's very, very clear and very easy to understand how is the structure. And as you can see, we define a road, railway, water and sewer and bridge. And you can also, based on that, you can understand how we structure the whole spatial breakdown. And
I'm sorry that I have to interrupt you now, Marcin, but yes, we are running. I have to leave for my next presentation here, so you can just finish what you say and then just end the webinar. And there are some more questions that, but we can answer them afterwards. So that's everything is saved here. So we will come back with answers about that question. So, but thank you very much for attending, and I will leave you now. So
yes,
see you at the intersection design speech as well later on here. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Jonas. Another question I see that do we support IDS? I don't know what it is, to be honest. No, I'm kidding. No, Karin, we don't support it right now. Yes, but based on this, in the future, we will be able to, of course, create this IDS, I hope. But right now we focused only on the supporting IFC 4.3 export import. The next question, is Quadri meant to be used by the authoring professional or the BIM managers? Yes, so Quadri is the platform that is used by everyone, but it's like object-oriented database that everything what we stream, so this is the, let's say, CAD platform, we convert to our bibliothèque, to our feature catalog, and then in this feature catalog, we can add properties, classify them, view them in different contexts, or in tabularic view, in plan view or 3D, and so on, add texture, everything. So we can actually manage our data. We can work on a server with different people together. So it's meant to be standalone. It's meant to be for BIM managers, BIM coordinators, but imagine if you have your own authoring software, as I showed you before. I have also the list of all here, like this Quantum, Tekla, SketchUp, Civil 3D, Revit, and Grasshopper Open Roads. So to be able to send data from your authoring software to Quadri, you can actually also use, you are a user of Quadri as well. And then when you send them from your source to Quadri, you can manage also by yourself. That, for example, you can add your properties, or you can add your viewers and so on. So this is the tool for both, for designers but BIM managers. Yeah, so I hope that I answered. Yes, IFC is fine to start with. Yes, so any other questions regarding IFC? And what I also can tell you at the end, that what we are working now with, or what I'm focusing now the most, it's IFC based catalog. So it's instead of showing here IFC features like objects, you will be able to see directly IFC entities. This is what we are working with, and we hope that it will be a game changer. I don't know if I have an example. Yeah, I have. So maybe I just very easily show you. You need to understand, this is just the beta version. This is just what we now testing, but you can. No, I cannot, because reload. No, I cannot, because I don't use this version. Yeah, so I will not show it. But anyway, we will have this version soon. I don't know when, but we are working with that. And then everything what it's here will be IFC based, and then we can structure, and all data you streamline from Tekla, SketchUp, Civil 3D, Revit will be directly converted into IFC entities, and you will work with IFC entities directly in Quadri, and then direct export to IFC 4.3 will be without conversion rules. So this is also something we say that this will be a game changer in our infrastructure sector, because everything what we will get will be instantly IFC entities and property sets and everything. Yes, any other question about workflows, how we work in IFC, or any question about entities? I also recommend you guys to visit website called IFC 4.3 documentation. So if you're going to create your own files on this documentation, you will find all different, let's say you have this browser here, so you can then very easily find all information that you should use in your to define your IFC file. So, for example, IFC course has some attributes that inherits from the top layers. I'm not going to tell you how it's structured, but IFC course has some attributes that inherits from the above layers. And then we have this predefined type. So when I click on this predefined type, so I know that this predefined types, for example, for me, it's interesting, this pavement. And I use it as well here. So when I open my viewer, when I click on my feature or my object, then you can see here, pavement here. So this is a predefined type on IFC course. So I spent quite some time on this, to find out how it's structured. And you can also go here to shared elements data. When you go to facilities, shared infrastructure elements, then you can also see all entities that are now available for infrastructure. So I presented you some boreholes, curves, earthworks field cut. So you can click and also understand what is it, what predefined types it has. So I know that it's slope field, subgrade, and so on. So there is a lot of information, but to be honest, I suggest you to learn about how it's structured inside Quadri. I just suggest you to go to any conversion rules that we create, we have inside. So in this case, this default export row to IFC, and when you open it, you can find this definitions, that source features that is in Quadri. how we convert them to IFC objects. So when I go on this level, then I, for example, click on traffic lane, and I see that, okay, this entity is IFC course, object type traffic lane surface, and predefined type user defined, and tag traffic lane. And we can, of course, change it. We can add the properties, as I said, and we can add much more classification and so on. So I'm suggesting you to just examine this one first. The same for railway, and the same for water and sewer. So this is the 3 disciplines we started with. And also I can say that we are we have a quite advanced implementation regarding what our competitors have. We are quite in front, I can say, in terms of exporting to IFC and structuring IFC 4.3. Yes, I think that's all. If there is there is some questions. Looks fantastic. Are Open Bridge, Open Rail are supported as well? To be honest, not sure. But I think I can check. I can, if they are the same way, if they are based on the same, like, I mean, if they are using the same engine or something like that, maybe. But I don't want to say for sure. IFC, so Open Roads. And Grasshopper is very nice connector as well, that you can directly send data to Quadri, and Quadri you can do a lot of there. So you can present model stuff. Yeah. So no, I don't know yet. I don't know for Open Bridge if this is the same principles or different tool, but Open Road for sure. Yes, so thank you for your time. I think I will maybe have more webinars in the future about because 30 minutes it's not enough, I know, but I will focus maybe more about on different workflows. But for you working with Quadri, just don't forget to make screenshot of that one, and based on that you will understand how to create conversion rules. This is the principles you have to set to be able to send your data from. And you everything, by examining the files I created, you will find everything. Your all answers will be there. And I also suggest you to open this file relationship config to see how I structure different layers. So predefined types on IFC road, usage types, and so on. So easily just click plus and minus and see how it's the structure. So IFC road, what it contains. And as I said, this is everything. What you see here, it's defined here. So before we couldn't have it. We couldn't have it for roads because there was only one facility called IFC building. Now we have this IFC bridge, IFC railway, IFC marine facility, IFC buildings. So you still can have a building, but in our case, the most interesting is this IFC road, and this is also essential for infrastructure projects and quite new. So I suppose that this will look differently in different projects. So this is not also defined that you only should divide your project this way. You can, of course, make your own requirements. And I know that, for example, Karin Andersson from Trafikverket will have own structure, spatial breakdown structure. So this is like own defined. But hopefully this is more clear division of files that it was before, objects that it was before. Before only everything put on the building story or building, something like that. And now we have this roads parts, railway parts, and pavement, earthworks fields. So it's fantastic to be able to now divide project IFC project correctly. Okay, thank you one more time, and hopefully see you on the next sessions. Bye bye.